We are Renaissance. Energy for people and planet.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for making it to today's meeting and today's workshop. On the sponsor's remark, I think it's important to say how exploration is very important to the Renaissance company. So, of course, you would all know that Renaissance is built on a very, very large asset base. But when we're discussing in one of our strategy sections, they said we are an exploration and production company. So going forward, you will see that there will be a lot more activities on exploration in Renaissance. So I wonder what happens to the production facilities people that I represent. But we are an exploration and production company. We haven't done a lot historically until the asset transfer, but going forward, we will be spending a whole lot more on exploration. And I'm sure NAPE will be very happy with us. So it's one of the reasons why we're sponsoring and why we are the titanium sponsor for this conference and we're sponsoring this session. Because improving operational efficiency and improving the capacity and the capability of our people to deliver on the vision is very important to us. So once again, thank you very much to NAPE and the NAPE officials for this conference. Thank you for this particular workshop. And thank you for letting the Renaissance Africa Energy Company partner with you. So going to the keynote address, all protocols observed. I like your name, very powerful names, fantastic names. I will come down and say, we need to speak to your mom. Very powerful. But good morning once again, distinguished fellows. Good morning once again, all the members of NAPE. Good morning, eminent guests. Good morning, wonderful colleagues and amazing friends. I am truly delighted to be with you today at this management session of the 43rd Annual International Conference of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists. I looked at the year 1975 and I was going to look around to say, okay, who were those that were born before this institution was established? It's a fantastic institution. It's the bedrock of our nation. I also want to thank all the fellows and all the members of NAPE for the opportunity to speak on and to engage in a conversation that sits at the very heart of the Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited and the center of our industry's future. So when I saw that security and sustainable development, I said that's half of the Renaissance vision. So you can see that we are very, very integrated, but I'll come to that later. So today's theme, driving operational efficiency and human capital development in the oil and gas sector towards economic advancement. Towards economic advancement. So we want energy security towards economic advancement. We want human capacity development towards economic advancement. At the end of the day, it is about lifting our people from poverty and improving the socioeconomic parameters of our country, Nigeria, and of our continent, Africa. So today, Nigeria stands at crossroads. Our global energy environment is shifting. As we are seated here, COP30 is going on climate change. And it impacts the decisions that all nations are making with respect to their sources of energy. This crossroads also means that capital allocation in the oil and gas industry is increasingly strategic and conditional. For those of you that might know, there are some rules that the European community came up with on energy. And their suppliers said, if you don't remove these rules, we will stop supplying you gas. Because, of course, they are going towards reducing carbon emissions and those things associated with it. But it's like, but this is the cost of providing the energy that drives the industrialization. So we have to meet somewhere. But we are all committed to a good climate, to a better climate for ourselves and for the generations that come after us. We need to do it together. But it also means that capital allocation is not like it used to be before. You have to answer the questions on sustainable development and on climate change. Also, there's technological disruption. It's reshaping every link in the energy value chain. Every link. And yet, despite these complexities, Nigeria retains enormous strategic advantages. Enormous strategic advantages. We've got world-class reserves. We have discovered a lot, but as I mentioned before that we want to do in Renaissance, we want to discover more. We want to discover more. I was speaking to the president-elect, and she talked about a well that's doing 2,500 barrels. So when our current president was elected back home, the first thing I said to him is, please help me find more wells that do higher volumes. Because if you have a 500 barrels per day well, and another one that's doing 2,500 barrels per day in the same field, it costs you as the same amount of money. But your UDC has just reduced by 75% because of the producibility of that single well. So finding fantastic finds, bigger finds, is one of the ways that we need to go to reduce the cost, the UDC, the cost of developing a well. So for those of us that remember when you found Baran and found Zaraba, fantastic fields. So thank God for the 200 and the 300 barrels per day, but we want more. And we are counting on our exploration geologists, on our geophysicists, on the members of NAPE to help us find more. Mr. President, Mr. President-elect, and all the members of NAPE, we are counting on you. Again, we have world-class reserves, and we want more. We have a young and dynamic population, and it's growing. We have entrepreneurial agility. You have seen all the dramatic changes in our industry as the equity changed hands from IOCs to indigenous operators. And we have the resilience. We have the resilience. Nigerians have the resilience to innovate our way forward. But to unlock these advantages, we must tackle two imperatives decisively, and that's what we're talking about today. We must operate more efficiently. So you will save us by finding bigger finds and higher producing wells. But when we come up, when the fluids come up, we have to find ways to develop them in a safer manner, to develop and operate them in a safer manner, in a smarter manner, in faster ways, and cost effectively. I like to use the word cheaper, but I prefer cost effectively. We must also build and empower, or let me say we must accelerate the building and the empowerment of the next generation of energy talent. So I said we must accelerate because we're standing here because we were built and we were empowered. The transition from IOCs to LOCs is because we were built and empowered. And we owe the generation coming after us to do the same, but to do it faster. And why must we do it faster? Because we want to increase our production. Because we want economic advancement in our nation and across our continent. They're not merely corporate goals. They're not Renaissance goals. They're not Aradel goals. They're not NAPE goals. They are national priorities. Over 200 million people, more than 50% of them under the age of 30. We have to do better. We have to do faster. At Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, the topic is a much-needed call for us to rethink how we operate, both our processes and our assets, how we invest in people, our employees, our communities, our industry. That's why we participate in industry associations like this, and how we translate performance into shared prosperity for company and for nation. The global energy system is undergoing profound realignment. Demand for oil and gas remains significant, especially across industrializing countries like Asia and Africa, where we're making quantum changes and building 600,000 barrels per day refineries. However, the world is increasingly investing in lower carbon alternatives, digitalized operations, and integrated energy portfolios. So I wanted to make a show of coming with my iPad instead of the paper and to talk about digitalization. So hopefully I have saved a tree somewhere. But because we're still adjusting to that space, I did have a backup. It was a paper backup. But we're going forward into the times in which we wouldn't need the big paper backup. And maybe sometime we probably won't even need the iPad itself. We will probably just have something in our hands or in our fingers that can just flash. And what you're doing is dematerialization. So it's not only shares that we should dematerialize. We need to dematerialize the entire value chain to increase productivity and efficiency and to reduce the cost of doing business. So for Nigeria, thank you. For Nigeria, this means two things. That's I'm talking about the profound realignment in our industry. Hydrocarbons will remain vital for national revenue. Hydrocarbons will remain vital for national revenue, for industrialization and energy security in the near and medium term. So far, we don't have the technology yet to turn everything into using renewables. The hydrocarbons have served us till now. We will need it in the short term, in the medium term. Nigeria will need it, Africa will need it. But we need to find ways to make it better, to make it more efficient, and to reduce the carbon intensity of our production and exploration operations. The competitiveness of our sector will depend on how quickly we modernize our operations and modernize our workforce. We are not just competing with national oil companies. We are competing with agile, technology-enabled energy firms around the whole wild world. Operational efficiency is no longer optional. It is the price of relevance. So that is where you go, innovate or die. Let's begin with operational excellence. In considering operational excellence, we must commit to creating and nurturing an environment where we apply our resources to achieve smart, consistent, and sustainable results. So for us at Renaissance, we know that excellence isn't a one-time achievement, it's a daily discipline. It's a mindset that must be clearly communicated, implemented, and monitored continually until excellent performance becomes reflexive for every member of the organization. Default operational mode. At Renaissance, our CRISP values, that you see collaboration, respect, integrity, safety, and performance. Particularly in performance. But all of these things, you can't have performance if the people are not safe. You can't have performance if you have integrity issues. And we all, every time, talk about Enron. You can't have performance if people don't feel respected, because then they don't bring their full selves to the table. And you can't have performance if you don't collaborate. One tree does not make a forest. It never has, it never will. When we acquired the assets of the Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited, and this is where you get to know that it's a red speech, because I was acquired. We inherited its high standards of excellence, a complex infrastructure, and legacy systems. That even with the divestment that the Shell Petroleum Development Company had done before the big Renaissance sale, Renaissance is still big. Renaissance is still huge. We still have the largest footprint in the country. Please clap for us. But it's not surprising that the clap emanated from the Renaissance table. Thank you very much. It has become evident in our first 100 days that we delivered the 40% uplift in production. And we are not resting on this achievement. We are not resting on this achievement. So keep watching this space. But more than keep watching this space, keep collaborating in this space as we work together with the NAPE president to find more fields and do more exploration. So we will continue that trajectory to increase our production year on year. We will continue that trajectory to deliver our very bold growth ambition of 1 million barrels of oil equivalent by the year 2030. We will be the partner of choice for investors, and we will drive value for Nigeria and Africa. How? By improving our processes, digitizing our operations, scaling best practices, and bringing stronger focus on nimble delivery. We are focused on improving our systems uptime, cost competitiveness, and working very hard on faster project delivery, not just as metrics, but as mindsets. Operational excellence means we are working very hard on streamlining our workflows to eliminate inefficiencies or reduce them to as low as reasonable practical, using the same terms as we use in our safety. We're empowering our teams with the data and autonomy to improve processes and ways of working. We are creating feedback loops that drive continuous improvement. It's not about doing more, actually. It's about doing better. That's my 2,500 per day wells, or even 4,000. I think we should go to 4,000 now, onshore. So it's not about doing more, it's about doing better. Consistently, sustainably, and smartly. But it's not only tech alone, but we need crisp people too. So this is the people aspect. We've talked about operational excellence. Technology and processes alone won't get us there. The true transformation happens when we invest in people. People will drive these ambitions, which we have envisioned, particularly people who demonstrably align with our CRISP values: collaboration, respect, integrity, safety, and performance. Nigeria's energy workforce is talented, ambitious, and full of potential. But potential needs development. Potential needs platforms to excel. Potential needs training. Potential needs mentorship. Potential needs opportunity. Potential needs sponsorship. And again, that's why associations like this and the various development programs that you run are important, because they support what the companies are doing. It's a symbiotic relationship. The better every professional is, the better every part of the industry is, collectively, the better we all are as the energy industry that is driving economic advancement in Nigeria and across Africa. So we are in this together. Workforce development and workforce transformation means we will continue to do, and we will get better at doing targeted training and reskilling to meet evolving demands, especially in our current climate with all of the technology transitions that we have. Diversity and inclusion, because diversity is wasted if there is no inclusion. That allows organizations to think beyond conventional hive knowledge and to tap into a variety of possibilities that drive it into prosperity. Safety-first cultures, as you see in our CRISP, the S, that protect lives and build trust. A transformed workforce must be a safety-conscious workforce that delivers at safe speed. And retention strategies that both value expertise and attract quality employees. At Renaissance, we're building a future-ready workforce, not just for today's challenges, but for tomorrow's possibilities. We have created long-standing partnership with universities in sponsoring research, in creating career pathways that empower young leaders, young Nigerians to lead. An amazing example of this is demonstrated in the Center of Excellence, where the Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited partners with Nigerian universities in funding and directly delivering through lecturing, internship, and sabbatical placements. I remember one of my professors at Obafemi Awolowo University. He came into Renaissance then Shell for his sabbatical. So meeting on the corridor, I was like, Prof, sir. We've been doing that for a long time. We'll continue to do that and to enhance that. In addition to these universities that we mentioned, we also work with universities to develop ICT centers and to develop infrastructure to improve the quality of teaching, to improve the quality of education across many universities in Nigeria. We also sponsor many scholarships. We've got the Cradle to Career program where we teach, sponsor tuition fees and everything, all inclusive, all the way from primary school to university. We also have master's program that we sponsor for students from the Niger Delta. We've been doing that every year, and we've continued that as Renaissance. We're doing this and many others, and we keep looking into how can we improve the quality of education that's provided by universities that supports our industry. So you will notice that at University of Benin, we're doing petroleum engineering and geoscience. At River State University is offshore and marine engineering. At University of Nigeria, Nsukka is environmental management and green energy. So we are interested in the entire value chain of our energy industry and in the transition that's ongoing. In this way, in our investment in educational pursuits, in educational institutions and educational processes, we are bridging some of the identified gaps to develop industry-ready professionals. A look across international, national, and indigenous companies in Nigeria will reveal a significant number of graduates from these programs that are now embedded and delivering high-quality value. I think we deserve a round of applause for that. And that's what we're doing in the educational space. But within its company itself, I do acknowledge that it's inherited, but I also posit that we're continuing and we're improving it. A number of the leaders in the indigenous companies, they do come from the history of Renaissance. So we have a history, we have a culture of developing people. That's why I said that what we need to do is not to just develop people as we have, is to accelerate that development and, of course, to make it germane, to make it respond to the ongoing energy transition and what's happening in our industry, in our nation, and across our continent. We're investing in technology, so let's talk about technology. Not as a buzzword, but as a tool for impact. We're in the age of AI, the Internet of Things, predictive operations, and a lot of technologically inspired shifts. They are no longer futuristic concepts anymore. They are here and they're changing the way we operate today. They're changing the way we all live today. I'll give you a very simple and interesting example. On my project on Astronaut, now one of my projects on Astronaut, we have CCTV installed. And you don't always, for the well engineers, you probably have to go to one room, open your laptop and do that. But I have the CCTV on my phone. So at any point in time, I can pick my phone and see what's happening on site. So it's simple because you're all doing that in your homes, but applying that to on an industrial scale, it's where, the magic happens. But that's just a very simple one, that we're doing. But there's so much more to do with the Internet of Things and with AI. It's going on. They're here. They're changing the way we operate. They're changing the way we think. They're changing the way we live. They're changing the way we move. They're even changing the way we eat and what we eat. So technology for impact means using AI to optimize drilling decisions and reduce non-productive time. Deploying IoT sensors to monitor asset health and prevent failures. Applying low-carbon innovations to reduce emissions and low energy cost. Interestingly, one of the things that we're looking at now is we take all the data that we have accumulated in the past 50, 60 years. We want to apply AI to that data and reinterpret the information that we have and see what have we missed, where else should we go, even as we go into our next phase of exploration frontiers. So we'll be using AI to do that. It's not everything that's going to be that we go to the field and we measure, but we want to look at the data we've already acquired. What other things can we glean from that data? And I'm hoping that when they're done on the production facility side, we'll bring all of our design engineering packages and get AI to look at the packages for all of our facilities and say, design me another one. It will be faster, it will be more efficient, it will be fantastic. But we're looking for collaborators to be able to do that kind of magic with the technology that we have. Also, on low carbon innovations, everything that we're going forward doing, we're looking at the carbon intensity. We've been doing that. We're working on a platform or shallow water offshore. That's like you need to use renewable energy. You have control over your scope 1 and some of your scope 2. So put in solar panels there. At the upstream facility that we have at Attah North, it's primarily powered by the solar panels in there. So we are on that journey to reducing the carbon intensity of our operations while making progress on every side. So at Renaissance, we are already integrating digital platforms that connect the fields to the boardroom. And I dare say that connects the field also to your lounge. If you can pick up your phone and see what's happening on site, that's amazing. We're using the data not just to report performance, but to predict it and to improve it. But let us remember that technology is as powerful as the people who build it. This is why human capital must go hand in hand with digital transformation. Efficiency and talent need an enabling environment. That's where policy and investment come in. We need regulatory frameworks that are clear, consistent, forward-looking, and easy to implement. We appreciate what NUPRC, what NNPC have been doing to help the industry, what the presidency has been doing to help the industry to be more efficient. And we look forward to more and more of those. We need funding models that de-risk innovation and incentivize local content and local content capacity development. Because you can't legislate local content. You have to build the capacity for it to make sense. We need partnerships and collaboration of government, industry, and academia that unlock private and public capital. And it's good to note that NAPE has brought together in this room and throughout this conference the government, the industry, and the academia. A round of applause to the organizers. Policy and investment alignment means streamlining approvals to accelerate project timelines. Remember, we said we need to be faster. Creating incentives for indigenous operators and service providers. And I smile because Renaissance is an indigenous operator now. Mobilizing capital for infrastructure, training, and technology. When policy supports performance, when investment fuels innovation, the entire value chain benefits. Ultimately, everything we have discussed must lead to measurable economic benefit. So we want energy security so that we can have economic benefit. We want sustainable development so that we can have sustained economic benefit. We want human capital development so that this world, this country, this continent can be a better place. So operational gains and human capital investment must translate into job creation across regions and disciplines, not only in the South, not only in the oil and gas industry, but in the North too, the Northwest, the Northeast, the North Central, the Southeast, the Southwest, the South-South, everywhere in Nigeria. Job creation, local value chains that empower SMEs and entrepreneurs, and the GDP that uplifts and strengthens our national resilience. It's not theoretical, it's practical, and it is urgent. We must build an industry that doesn't just extract value, but multiplies and returns value. An industry that doesn't just produce energy, but that powers development all across Africa. So that's why you will see in the Renaissance vision that industrialization is a key part of it. And of course, a lot of that is embedded in our domestic gas strategy, which we intend to increase by as much as 4 times by 2030. So this is why our vision at Renaissance is to be the leading Africa energy company, enabling energy security and industrialization in a sustainable manner. So remember when I said energy security and sustainable development, who copied who? But we are all collaborating. It's a powerful vision. It's a powerful vision. It's a vision that's transformative. It's a vision that is going to lift and change many things. But as we mentioned, collaboration. We're not going to get there without collaborating with the industry, without collaborating with NAPE, with professional organizations, with the government, with the regulators, and the investors. So conclusion, what's a takeaway? We need to move from conversation to commitment, from strategy to execution, from potential to performance. But it's not so much as we need to move. We need to accelerate the movement, because I must give credit to everyone that is sitting here. We are moving. We are moving. There has been a significant increase in oil production in Nigeria. It has come from Renaissance, but it has come from the other operators also. So we're moving, but we need to move faster. We're moving, we need to move smarter. We're moving, we need to move more cost effectively. So before I close, let me say how truly excited I am about the panel that follows this address. We are going to hear from a remarkable group of leaders whose collective experience spans upstream innovation, gas commercialization, regulatory strategy, digital transformation, and media advocacy. It's a lineup that reflects the spectrum of our industry, our human capital, and more importantly, the depth of insight needed to shape its future. We will hear from the MD CEO of Aradel Holdings, a director and board member of Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, and a champion of indigenous energy leadership. We have in the room Effiong Gokon, the MD CEO and my neighbor at the Anor Gas Processing Company, driving Nigeria's gas transition. We have Olayemi Adebayo, Commission Secretary at NUPRC, offering regulatory clarity and strategic foresight. We have James Suarez, bringing global from Chevron's Nigeria Mid-Africa region, bringing global perspective to local execution. We will have the MD CEO of Total Energies, Matthew Beer, leading the change on integrated energy solutions. Rocco Detomo, you had been introduced before, City of D-Beach, a technologist pushing the boundaries of innovation and the boundaries of dressing too. Thank you for coming like that. And we will have in the room Toyin Akeosho, and whom I consider the mother of this industry, Alero Onoshode. They will guide us in conversation with insight and precision. What's striking about this group, beyond their titles, is the shared DNA of excellence. They are professionals who have been shaped by global exposure, rigorous standards, and high-impact leadership environments. They have led teams and are leading teams, built systems and are building systems, and delivered results and are delivering results across nations, across continents. Thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to listening to you. So if you're wondering where else you might find that kind of DNA, well, I'd humbly suggest you take a closer look at Renaissance. We like to say our team is so sharp. We sometimes need to wear gloves just to brainstorm safely. I hope you get the joke. But in all seriousness, we have built and are improving a culture where excellence isn't just expected, it's engineered. 2 weeks ago, we had an innovation week, and our CEO shared with us a fantastic work that we are all living to now. It's called Imagineering. And the fact that we dedicated a whole week to innovation just tells you what is driving us and what we have in mind. But we are all living up to that tenet of Imagineering. What can we do differently? What can we do better? How can we use technology to improve this business, to improve this nation, to improve this continent? So do join us in Renaissance in the spirit of Imagineering. So as we move into the panel session, I encourage every delegate to lean in, as you have been doing, listening to me. Thank you very much. I've been encouraged by your attention. Please lean in also during all the panel discussions, throughout the conference, throughout today, and every day, lean in. So Lean In is not just for the women. Lean In is for all professionals, because the work we have to do is great, is mighty in this nation and across this continent. Please ask questions. Please challenge assumptions. Please take notes, because the insights you're about to hear from this diverse experience and forward-thinking groups are not just informative, they're transformative. I congratulate NAPE on this conference, and I thank NAPE for the honor and opportunity given to the Renaissance Africa Energy Company to make this keynote address today. I thank each one of you for your dedication to Nigeria's energy future, because that's why you're here. Because you are interested in the energy future of Nigeria, in sustainability, in everything that concerns this nation. That's why you're here. Together, let us build an industry that is efficient, inclusive, and transformative. Let us invest in people, embrace technology, align our policies, and unlock prosperity. Let us make energy not just a commodity, but a catalyst for national advancement. Let the African Renaissance begin. I thank you for your attention.
We are Renaissance. Energy for people and planet.